Hello, dear fellow Rotarians. I'm Dr. Paula Fellingham, a member of the Rotary Action Group for Peace. Do you know that one of Rotary International's 6 areas of focus is to promote peace? So, the Rotary Action Group for Peace is providing this program in an effort to promote peace in the hearts, in the homes, and the communities of Rotarians worldwide. Our program today is titled Peace is Possible. Founder Paul Harris said, quote, "Individuals and nations owe it to themselves to become informed because ignorance is a menace to peace," close quote. And the Dalai Lama said, "The purpose of life is to be happy. The greatest degree of inner tranquility comes from the development of love and compassion," close quote. And love and compassion always lead to peace. The story I'll share now is about inner tranquility. There once was a king who offered a prize to the artist who would paint the best picture of peace. Many artists tried. The king studied all the pictures, but there were only 2 that he really liked. He had to choose which one would win the prize. One picture was of a beautiful, calm lake. The lake was a perfect mirror of the peaceful, towering mountains that surrounded it. Overhead was a blue sky with fluffy white clouds. All who saw this picture thought that it was the perfect picture of peace. The other picture had mountains too. The mountains were rugged and bare. Above was an angry sky from which rain fell and in which lightning struck. Down the side of the rugged mountain tumbled a foaming waterfall. This did not look peaceful at all. But when the king looked closer, he saw behind the waterfall a small green bush growing out of a crack in the rock. On the bush, a mother bird had built her nest. There, in the midst of the torrent of water, sat that mother bird on her nest, calmly and peacefully. Which picture do you think won the prize? The king chose the second picture. Because, he explained, peace is not being in a place where there's no noise, no trouble, or difficulties. Peace means to be in the midst of those things with a calm, peaceful heart. That is the real meaning of peace. My friends, we all have challenges. We all have turbulence in our lives. However, we also, all of us, enjoy the freedom to choose whether or not we will create our own personal peace, even during troubling, turbulent times. Have you noticed, like I have, that 2 people can be in the same place, doing the same thing at the same time, and one is upset and the other is happy? The difference is simple. The conflicted, upset person chooses to look at life often through mirrors as they worry about how everything will affect or benefit them personally. On the other hand, the happy person often sees life through windows, seeing the needs of others and serving them. Unhappy people blame others for their unhappiness often. Happy people usually radiate light and love and see their challenges as opportunities to grow. Now, by the raise of hands, and I'd like you all to participate, by the raise of hands, go ahead. How many of you believe that having peace in your heart is possible? Raising hands. Peace in your heart is possible. Thank you. So if peace in our hearts is possible, then peace in our homes is possible. Peace in this Rotary Club is possible. Therefore, we can all hold the great hope that as we continue striving to be personally peaceful, we will be doing our part to lift the level of love and peace on earth. I'd like to share 5 powerful action steps now to help us each be more peaceful. Number 1, believe and become. Number 2, shift and shine. Number 3, eliminate ego. Number 4, lighten up and love. And number 5, promote peace. Let's go back to action step number 1. Believe and become. Marcus Aurelius was a Roman emperor and philosopher. He said, quote, "A man's life is what his beliefs make of it." Close quote. And William James, he was said to be the father, American father of psychology. He wrote, "The greatest discovery of my generation is that human beings can alter their lives by altering their beliefs." Close quote. So my fellow Rotarians, within each one of us is a power that we scarcely tap. This power has fueled heroic deeds since time began. It's energized great inventors and artists and musicians throughout the ages. It's the exact same power available to each one of us every day of our lives. It's the power of belief. Author Dale Carnegie said, "Believe you'll succeed. Believe it firmly, and then you'll do what's necessary to bring success about." Close quote. Yes, as we develop that sense of certainty that positive beliefs provide, we will be able to accomplish virtually anything, including those things that others think are impossible. If we're to achieve the goal of increasing the level of love and peace on earth, we must first believe that it's possible. We must first believe that our world can be a better place, and we can be the change we wish to see in the world, as Gandhi said. And the wonderful news is, there are studies that prove that our future is better than many of us may think. We have substantial data that proves that there is great abundance in this world. Using almost any metric currently available, there are studies that show that the quality of life for billions of people in this world has improved more in the past century than ever before in the history of the world. And it looks as if global living standards will continue to improve, regardless of the horrors that dominate the headlines. We really do have cause to rejoice. Yes, there is a great and a mighty work to do, and many improvements need to be made. Yes, this is a given. This is so true. But if each one of us does our part, enjoying more peace is possible. We must first believe it and hold that belief firmly in our hearts as we work to become more loving and peaceful in our personal lives. For as you know, peace can only begin in each individual heart. And then, when wise parents teach peace in the home by example and by precept, our youth can help peace spread throughout humanity in ways never before witnessed in the history of the world. So let us be peacemakers and actively teach the next generation that peace is possible. Action step number 2, shift and shine. What does it mean to shift and shine? So here's a short story to illustrate this. It was written by a young mother. One day, my young daughter was late coming home from school. I was both annoyed and worried. When she came through the door, I demanded in my upset tone that she explain why she was late. She said, "Mommy, I was walking home with Julie and halfway home, Julie dropped her doll and it broke into lots of little pieces." "Oh, honey," I replied, "you were late because you helped Julie pick up the pieces of her doll and put them back together." In her young and innocent voice, my daughter said, "Oh no, Mommy, I didn't know how to fix the doll. I just stayed to help Julie cry." So what is the shift we need to make to have soft, loving hearts? I believe it begins with knowing that we don't need to go looking for love or joy. We already have those qualities inherently within us, each one of us. and we can access them at any time. Now, at times we might feel overwhelmed if we think we're supposed to promote peace by solving the water problems in Africa or eliminating the strife in Syria. What we're talking about now is beginning the promotion of peace by making a shift in our own hearts. Shifting our perspective is like rearranging our DNA. It's like an awakening. And when we are living wide awake, our understanding and subconscious is at a higher level, and we can peel off the crust that may have gathered around our hearts, and then we can see the beauty, the abundance, and the love that's all around us, that's begging to be seen, yearning to be acknowledged, and longing to be shared. This shift is like a transformation of our hearts and our souls. When we experience this shift, we're more tolerant, we're more forgiving, we're more patient and kind, more peaceful. People who have experienced this shift, they can be recognized easily because they shine. We know many people who shine, and some of them are right here today, right in your club. Others, they live in the slums of Kibera in Nairobi, where 1 million people live in 1 square mile. And yet, despite their circumstances, many in those slums in Kibera, they're happily shining. I've been there and I know. Others who shine are working on farms in Mexico or Malaysia. Some are government leaders in Ethiopia or England, or they're in offices in Singapore and Spain, or perhaps they're home tending their children in the Netherlands or Nepal. Yes, people who shine, they're everywhere. These are those with strong spirits and indomitable wills who are all firmly rooted in 5 things. People who shine stand on a foundation of powerful positive beliefs, moral values, optimistic attitudes, never give up work ethics, and a deep hope for a better future. People who shine refuse to be victims of their circumstances, and they choose to have joyful hearts, no matter what's happening around them or who is trying to bring them down. Misery is not an option for them. So many men and women who exemplify this all over the world are Rotarians who are committed to our motto, service above self. I love that. Most Rotarians shine because they've made the shift that we all need to make if we're to lead out as peacemakers. Yes, Rotarians everywhere understand that we can only contribute to a peaceful world to the extent that we are personally peaceful. Action step number 3, eliminate ego. Eliminate ego means that we need to slough off the pride, slough off the fear of many things, of not having enough, of not knowing enough, or not being good enough. We need to release the negativity and let go of that part of us that covets, resents, blames, that refuses to forgive and holds on to anger or jealousy, that focuses on self. Eliminating ego means to let go of that part of us that seeks out the faults in ourselves and in others. Ego is all negativity that originates from selfishness, from false beliefs and fearful perceptions. Eliminating ego is the most difficult of the 5 action steps for many people. However, it's also the most powerful. Why? Because when ego is eliminated, the result is a change of heart. Yes, a profound awakening and enlightenment always follows when egos are released. We could talk about this for hours, but simply stated, eliminating ego is about getting yourself out of the way and learning how to truly love and serve others with no thought of reward. Action step number 4, lighten up and love. My dear Rotarians, a reminder to us all is that we can lighten up by simply not sweating the small stuff and living in gratitude, paying attention to the many things we do have, and focusing on the good things in our lives. Dale Carnegie said, happiness doesn't depend on outer conditions, it depends on inner conditions. It isn't what we have or who we are or what we're doing that makes us happy or unhappy. It's what we think about. For example, 2 people, he said, could be in the same place doing the same thing at the same time, and one is miserable and one is happy. Why? And we talked about this before. Because of a different mental attitude, close quote. There was a study on happiness completed in 1984. 2,000 people's lives were studied, and the conclusion was this: happy people and unhappy people tend to have had very similar life experiences. The difference is that the average unhappy person spends more than twice as much time thinking about unpleasant events in their lives. And happy people tend to seek and rely upon information that brightens their personal outlook. Close quote. I'd like to share a saying that hung in Mother Teresa's office. It was written by Kent Keith. Mother Teresa said she read it often, and it goes like this: people are often unreasonable and self-centered. Forgive them anyway. If you're kind, people may accuse you of ulterior motives. Be kind anyway. If you're honest, people may cheat you. Be honest anyway. If you find happiness, people may be jealous. Be happy anyway. The good you do today may be forgotten tomorrow. Do good anyway. Give the world the best you have, and it may never be enough. Give your best anyway. For you see, in the end, it's between you and God. It never was between you and them anyway. Action step number 5, promote peace. Let's look now at the 7 B's to promote peace. These 7 things will help us be Rotarians of action. The first B is be grateful. We discussed gratitude. It's a critically important piece of peace. Let's focus on what we have, not on what we don't have. Also, we should remember that what we focus on expands. If we focus on lack and limitation, we'll receive more lack and limitation. If we focus on sharing our love and our light, more love and light will come our way. Number 2, be loving. Be others-centered instead of self-centered by giving service gladly. It's Mother Teresa again who said, spread love wherever you go, first of all in your own home. Give love to your husband, your wife, your children, your next door neighbor. Let no one ever come to you without leaving better and happier. Close quote. Number 3, be flexible and cheerful. You know, our ability to be flexible and cheerful is an indication of our strength of character. Let's do all we can to bring joy into our own lives and into the lives of others. And let's laugh more often. And don't sweat the small stuff. Have you noticed that what we worry about is almost all small stuff? Let's release our negative thoughts and allow only positive thoughts to flourish in our minds. Number 4, be forgiving. Forgive yourself and others quickly. Perhaps you've heard that not forgiving is like taking poison and expecting the other person to die. You're hurting yourself far more than you're hurting them. And we need to get past the past. Let us take the best and discard the rest from our past experiences. And the fifth B, be kind to yourself and to others when you speak. Use positive self-talk like, hey, every day I'm becoming more patient and loving. Only speak to others and about others as you would want them to speak to and about you. Number 6, be worry-free. Worry is like a rocking chair. It keeps you busy, but it doesn't get you anywhere. A worried heart is not a peaceful heart. Awaken the ability to release yourself from worry by thinking, worry won't solve the problem. Then either take constructive action to solve the problem or simply let it go. Worry is a habit that we can break. It simply takes effort and time. And number 7, be the inspiration. This is Rotary President Barry Rasson's theme. Let us show the next generation and everyone whose life touches ours how to be loving and peaceful by being loving and peaceful. Let's inspire others to promote peace by our inspirational examples. My friends, let's ask ourselves, how can we be better peacemakers in our homes, in our workplaces, in our communities? And then let us take action by applying the 7 B's in our lives. Because at the end of the day, increasing the love and peace on earth is possible when one heart at a time shifts and becomes more loving and peaceful. We can do this. Do not doubt that increased peace on this planet is possible. Here's a closing story written by a young woman years ago. She said, my grandfather took me to the fishing pond when I was about 7, and he told me to throw a stone into the water. He told me to watch the circles created by the stone. Then he asked me to think of myself as that stone. You may create lots of splashes in your life, but the waves that come from those splashes may disturb the peace of your fellow creatures, he said. Remember that you are responsible, this grandfather said, for what you put in your circle, for that circle will touch many other circles. You should live in a way that allows the good from your circle to strengthen and add goodness to other circles. The splash that comes from anger or jealousy will ripple out and send those negative feelings to other circles. You are responsible for both types of ripples, good and bad. My fellow Rotarians, we each create the inner peace or discord that flows out into the world. We cannot help create world peace if we are riddled with inner conflict, hatred, doubt, or anger. We radiate the feelings and the thoughts that we hold inside, whether we speak them or not. Whatever is splashing around inside of us is spilling out into the world, creating beauty or discord with all other circles of life. If we cannot find peace within ourselves, we will never find it anywhere else. Now is the best time in the history of the world to increase the love and the peace on earth. Why? Because there's a rising and an awakening of humanity like never before, as more and more people are realizing that increased peace is possible. Because although there will always be hatred and strife on our planet, more and more people are making peace a priority. They are realizing that together we can join hands and link arms, connecting, collaborating, and refusing to believe that war is the answer. The answer is to have peace in our hearts and in our homes, which will increase the peace in our communities and nations. Perhaps we can begin by believing in the goodness of mankind. We know there is much, much more good than bad in our world. People are inherently kind and loving, most people. And we all want the same thing. Yes, people in every home, in every nation want the exact same thing. We all want to be safe and happy. We all want to be loved and appreciated. And we all want to know that our lives matter. Oh, and each life does matter. Each life is precious. Every splash and every ripple in the waters of humanity matters. Remember those words of that grandfather, that wise man. Each person creates the inner peace or discord that flows out into the world. We cannot create peace on earth if we are riddled with inner conflict or anger. We radiate the feelings and the thoughts that we hold inside. Whatever is splashing around inside of us is spilling out into the world, creating more beauty or more discord with all other circles of life. Close quote. So my friends, let us splash joyfully and spill out love, kindness, forgiveness, happiness, and yes, peace. As Rotarians who are committed to the four-way test, let us be actively engaged each day in the great cause of peacemaking in our hearts, in our homes, in our workplaces, in our communities, and in our nations. Inner peace, when multiplied, can change the world. Yes, peace is possible.